Oh yeah, sexy biscuits. Nice.
Long goes 1975. A YouTuber's on the rise, reviewing games late at night and sometimes friends. But Long goes 1975.
Hey YouTube, Numbers Post 1975. Welcome back to another retro video game comparison. Number 7, I believe. Now, if you read the title, once again, I don't know where to point. It's going to be Thunderblade, an arcade machine. If you're from my generation, a sprite scaler by Sega, released in 1987. It's, you know, it's so famous. It's so much a part of so many people's childhoods. It was in that whole cast of games like Outrun, Afterburner, but it took a different approach because you're a helicopter. And not only do you have sprite scaling sequences into the screen, but you also had top-down ones, which was kind of unheard at the time. There were other games that later on, was it Metal Hawk by Dana Reese? I get confused. It, you know, stole this idea, and you could say that there's elements of Pilot Wings that are based on this. You know, like the military levels at the end. But you know, it was that two-tier system of levels into the screen, above the screen, that to me sold this game to me more than Afterburner. Didn't have a hydraulic cabinet though. Had a really cool cabinet. It was gear based, wasn't it? So you sat in this little chair with like skiffs, and it looked like a chopper or a helicopter, and the screen would be mounted in front of you, and you would push the joystick far left, and the gears, even though it wasn't like, you know, hydraulic, but that's how gears work, you know, would take all, you know, the weight or the strength of, you know, of needing to do that, and it would turn the cabinet the other way. Did it add anything to the game? No, it just made it feel like a helicopter. Played it in that wonderful arcade I always talk about in Westwood Ho, one of my favourite. Possibly Bold Cool, my favourite sprite scaler by Sega, simply because of the top-down stages. Now I'm going to take a different approach with this comparison video, because I want to talk about, you know, how all, because there are other versions. The Spectrum version is really, really good, believe it or not. I've played the Commodore version, that's really, really good. And they actually replicate that sprite down thing in those, you know, sort of up the screen shooting stages. But the home consoles came along and they promised us, you know, the arcade in your house. You're finally going to get the arcade in your house. And for those of us, for me, with like 8-bit computers, Spectrum, Amstrad, Commodore, you know, and the leap from them to the Master System and then to stuff like the Megadrive, I think the pursuit as a kid, because you were confused, well, you were won over, I should say, by advertising campaigns, was you wanted the arcade experience. So for the purpose of this video, I'm only going to I'm only going to compare the console ports. So I'm going to play the original arcade version, so you can see in it all its sexy goodness. I'm going to play the Sega Megadrive and or Genesis version. I'm going to play the Sega Master System version, and I'm going to play the PC Engine version. I hope you enjoy. So obviously the first port of call will be the original arcade version released by Sega in 1987. Pretty sure there was no kind of what they did with all their consoles, you know, like Super Thunderblade, I could be wrong. You know, Thunderblade 2, that were essentially the same game with a couple of extra levels ported on. Right, this to me still looks absolutely stunning. Let's put some money in. Right, now bear in mind, if you look at the left of the screen, because I'm playing it on a GameCube pad on Wii, you know, MAME running on my Wii, don't get the luxury of slowing down or speeding up, but you can still kind of use your ascent and descent to avoid most of the sort of enemies' missiles, and you know, and the kamikaze pilots who seem to come at you batshit crazy. Let's put some more money in, but I think this is a stunning game, and probably Sega's best example of sprite scaling. Right, let's get into it. Right, so we start. That's fire rockets, which take a while to replenish, and that's your Vulcans, which are pretty effective anyway. Ooh. Now, as I said, I can't speed up, so it's going to make the level a little slower than it normally would be, but then as I recall, you can on many of the arcade conversions on the home systems. That was so fucking lucky, but this is what I mean. Alright, granted, excuse me, a lot of the other sprite, this could only possibly be the only Sega sprite scaler that had this vertical top-down view, and they achieved this brilliant pseudo 3D effect, which is, I know what sprite scaling is about, but by stacking, you know, scalable, well, flat images on top of each other to replicate the skyscrapers. Because look, what he doesn't mean your main mission, he means we're going to fly into the screen now, but they look absolutely fantastic. They really, really do. And as I said in the intro, it's a shame I won't get to show the Spectrum version, because obviously it doesn't hold a fart to this, but it does do a really cool little trick. and you do get stacked sort of sprites and images to, oh shit me, almost shot my ass off. And no one likes having their ass shot off unless they're in prison. But yeah, it really did do a good job of replicating, you know, this pseudo 3D effect. Now this, obviously you could say, even if I could speed up, goes, you missiles far down. It's always good when things go down, sorry. Obviously it's not going to scroll like Afterburner, and it's a different sort of game, even though this is an into-the-screen shooter, probably in the mould of that, although same year, so. But there's no denying that they've used the same trick, but you know, it's into the screen now as opposed to images stacked sort of, you know, on top of each other. But it still makes it feel very, very solid in 3D. And I've said it before, but you know, oh shit, bollocks, oh fuck it. And I thought it was Blue Thunder. I guess I'm more fucking Richard Branson's Virgin. But yeah, it definitely, you know, even now, it just makes me think 3D. I don't look at this and just think trick of the trade or, you know, budget 3D. Fuck, you know. Look at the way the tank comes towards you. That's epic beans. Oh, shit. But yeah, I still think, you know, 3D. Now, even though I'm in Blue Thunder and shit, they got fucking F-14s. I mean, that's like, me being in a helicopter is like bringing a knife to a gunfight. Now, I've said it before when I played this game, but you know, are people in these office blocks? You know, what was the local sort of military doing? What was the local government doing when they saw this steady but massive, well, I say massive, look at it, influx of military hardware just quietly going for a jaunt on a Sunday? Hey, look, a tank, another tank, another tank, another tank, a plane, a rocket. I mean, like, let's go for a Starbucks. Nothing to worry about here. Right. Oh shit. Right. As you can see, I could you know, talk wax poetic positives about this arcade game all day long, because I think it's an absolute bloody gem. Oh, a little bit of a clip in there, but we're going to call it quits there and move on to the next version. So this is Super Thunderblade on the Sega Megadrive and or Genesis, released by Sega in 1988, and I believe it was a launch title. Ignore what I said in the previous bit on the arcade when I said, you know, naming convention was Super, because obviously there was Super Thunderblade on the home systems. I actually meant in the arcade, you know. Was there like variants of Thunderblade in the arcade like they did the, you know, Galaxy Force 2 and Afterburner? Right, let's get into it. I never, ever, ever liked this version, you know. People say you hate on it too much, Dave, because of the limitations of the hardware. Well, that's monkey bollocks right there, because you'll get to see some other versions that are running on far less superior hardware than this to do a far better bang-up job. Was it rushed? I don't know. I don't think it was. I think it was just a lazy port. Anyway, let's get into it. Right. Starts off so well. You get a really, really nice shot. Alright, it's not Blue Thunder, but for me that would always be clearly ripped off Blue Thunder. But you get a really nice shot of your, you know, a little bit of parallax going on, which is probably the most you'll ever see of parallax in this game. You know, your big chopper. All the birds love a big chopper. Let's hope it's not cold in there. And then you get this. So, right off the bat, ooh, it's starting on the wrong level, because shouldn't it be top down first, bollocks? The buildings look like waffles. It's super quick. I mean, I'm not saying, you know, I expected, you know, the sort of speed controls of the arcade game, but I mean, like, Jesus, it's like, I don't know, maybe if we just speed it up, the kids won't know how shit this is. The road itself kind of, well, not scale, but bends and dips really well. It's just, I don't know, would it, if they took their time and released it late, like they did with, one of my rockets, they did with, well, who cares where they are, they're shit. Bollocks, like they did with, you know, the later version of Outrun, would it have looked bad? Because, I mean, alright, those tanks are kind of alright, but, what, no continues? That's bullserific hard. I really wanted to show you the top-down stage, or extreme lack of it. Right, skip that. Nope, that's pause. There we go, that was a bit awkward. Right, let's try that again. Oh, you hold it down. Oh, you just hold it down, period. I'm just gonna, I can't Space Harrier it, you know, do that rotation mechanic, because obviously they really are, I believe they're spitting death more angrily than a storm of wasps would. And hell, it's far worse. They've far more got a bug up their ass in this version than they have in the arcade version. Oh, bollocks, look at them. It's like, I believe this is Sega's tactics. Just either speed it up as quickly as possible or blow them up, then the kids will never appreciate how shite a port this is. Up and down, Dave, up and down. That's what she likes, apparently. Sorry. Come on, right, one more go. You're not sorry, people. You just not gonna see fuck all in this now, right? Your score is bollocks is what it should say right there. Nice soothing music though, right? Let's try that again. Start. Skip to the end. Right. I played it back in the day, I never liked it. But I do know I could actually get somewhere on it. I should have just left the demo running at the start so you could have seen a top-down stage. Ooh! Please don't tell me I have to go for a canyon when it's this tits frisky, because I just want to show them your failure at the vertical level, Sega. Come on, give me a break. Sound effects are rubbish, so tinny, and the music is, well, I don't know, is that music? I think that would be an insult to music to call that music. I'm being very hard on this game, but when I show you some of the stuff after this, running on inferior hardware, you'll understand that I'm not being overly critical of this version, it's just not very good. And being a very early Megadrive game is not an excuse. You know, when you look at some of the other early ones, like they're decent port of Afterburner. Come on, can we go top down already, please? Ooh! Just for my audience, just for my audience, just for my audience. Wow, and also so repetitive. Again, I can't be that overly critical on it, but I'm also not going to say that you can blame the hardware for an excuse. Come on, please, please. There we go, this is awkward as well. No, it's a boss. I mean, I know it's a reimagining of the arcade, but really? You got to kind of... I don't know, I give it up. Wow, when did you turn into Tron? When did you turn into a Cylon? I think my missiles are doing all the work, they just seem to be locking on regardless of what I do. Right. There we go. Are you dead? You're dead. Everybody's dead, Dave. What, more into the screen? Alright, that's it, people. I give up on showing you a top-down stage. On to the next version, methinks. So this is Thunderblade on the Sega Master System. Now I played this version before, Super Thunderblade, on the Megadrive version because, as you know, I had a Master System. So maybe, and this is why I mentioned previously when I said some of the 8-bit versions really show that Sega Genesis version or Megadrive version, you know, the failing of its using its own hardware. So obviously there isn't going to be much sprite scaling in the top-down stages in this, but there's no denying that they are very, very solid. And by solid I mean not just good shooters, but fucking balls horrifically hard. But the into the screen stages, considering the hardware that they're using, at least to me, are just... Alright, they're a bit more repetitive, and the sides of the screens almost feel like you're playing a pre-rendered game, and by that, it's moving in blocks and stuff, you know, it's... But even that to me looks far more sort of 3D than, you know, that just one block, a power block in front of you. Anyway, we'll get into this. And obviously it supports the arcade machine. So at the time when the Master System was released, they were kind of flogging it or selling it on the strength that it was get the Sega ports at home. So you got Afterburner, you got Wonder Boy, you got this. You didn't get any super tweaked versions. I'm not against super tweaked versions. Things like Super R-Type 2 on the SNES, I've got no problem with that because it still has the elements or the correct sequence of the levels, you know, before the ones they had missed, that is, of the arcade machine. Anyway, waffling, let's get into this. Start. Now this is hard, mind, right? Really hard. Oh, see? Right, what was that? Was that missile? No, that's Vulcan. Right, just hammer, hammer, hammer. Seriously, stop. Hammer time, because it's unrelentingly hard, but you can fly over the top of the skyscrapers. I remember as a kid, not thinking I could do that and feeling incredibly penned in and thinking it was even harder than it actually is. It's no walk in the park, mind. Unless it's a park full of death. And the waves are to some degree predictable in... Well, no, they're not. They just changed their fucking flight pattern. Right, the missiles are obviously what take out the land craft. Oh, bollocks. See what I mean? This is absolutely unforgiving. At least you got to see into the screen stage on the, you know, with the bit when I was waffling at the start, because... I forgive this for being balls horrifically hard, because it just feels more so Thunderblade. Oh, the tank's far backwards, they don't do that in the other versions. Then, god-awful Megadrive Super Thunderblade. That's just me, I guess. You know, taste is subjective after all. a phrase that apparently a great many people on, you know, social media forums don't understand. I'm allowed to like something. Again, you know, if you like Thunderblade on the Megadrive, good for you, but you're allowed, and I'm allowed to like something that each other don't. Talking this, bad idea. I guess technically they're bought and packing more military hardware than they are in the other versions. Really? I'm scared. Yes. Is that sad that I thought, look at you? Some sort of accomplishment that I shot 2 tanks? Ooh, fuck nuggets of doom. Because that's the only 2 bloody tanks you're going to get to see me shoot. Oi, 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 oi. No you don't, no you don't, no you don't! You will, inevitably. I'm not going to argue. Did I do it? Did I do it? There we go. See, now you're thinking, what are you talking about, the Megadrive version? Sorry. This? Bollocks, don't be my life. Fuck. That, to me, is just a better use of the hardware and feels more sort of representative of the arcade. It's balls horrifically hard, don't get me wrong. But it just, I don't know, it just feels closer. Now on to the final home console version. As I mentioned in the little intro, console version of Thunderblade I want to play. Hands down my favourite, you know, version, period, and that would be Thunderblade on the PC Engine. Obviously it was released in 1990, so it was a little bit later, you know, than some of the other home ports of the time. But yeah, 1990 it was reprogrammed by NEC Avenue, or NEC as I like to call them, because I'm English and that's what we do with words. And to me, it's the fact that it took a company other than Sega to put more love and attention into, well, it's an 8-bit system. This is why I put it after the Mastersystem. You know, it's got an 8-bit processor, but, you know, we can argue all day about this, but it's got a 16-bit graphics chip. But, you know, obviously it was the one that's going to compete with the Megadrive the most. So why did NEC or NEC put more love into it than Sega did? You'll see what I mean, or maybe it's just me, as I always say, taste is subjective, but I absolutely love and adore this version. It's absolutely fantastic. It's the, let's see what mode is, control, normal, level, normal. Right, let's screw it. But yeah, I just think this is just so reminiscent of the arcade. You're going to think why when you see it if you've never seen it before, but it's got, right, there's Vulcans and there's missiles. It's got that sprite bollocks, sprite stacking thing from the arcade. Yes, it's very, very sort of crude compared to it. But you got to remember, no other version even attempted this. Some of the old, other 8-bit versions did on, you know, like Spectrum, Commodore and stuff like that. But none of these sort of console ports did. And also, the the PC Engine had no sprite scaling hardware. So, you know, what a bold, stay away, you chopper wanker. Oh, that sounded really sexual. What a bold decision to try and take this step and do it with this sort of hardware. And it pays off. It's why I at least, I mean, it got very, very good reviews back in the day, but it's why I at least just think this is the best version, because clearly it's an attempt to make it like the arcade version. The reason we fell in love with the arcade was the fact that it had that stacked layer of sprites to kind of replicate 3D. And I'll even say that the screen stages, you're probably saying, well, you didn't like the Megadrive version. I don't know, because it took the route it did, with the top-down stages. I have more affinity for this version, although I'm going to say I still think these are superior to the Megadrive version. There's more buildings. They don't seem to come out of, like, they've suddenly got, a Klingon stealth device and then just pop up and just go, hi, I'm a builder, I'm going to hit you in the face. It's just, I don't know, and especially the scrolling over the road, which you would expect because it does brilliant ports of stuff like Chase HQ, looks absolutely fantastic. This is, again, you can hate me for saying this, yeah, fuck you, Tank Boy, superior to the Megadrive version. Could they have done this on the Megadrive? Possibly not, but I would like to think they could, because it is, again, we're going to start arguments here, superior hardware. Fuck. Come on, let me just get to, because obviously this is an arcade port and not like the route that Super, Thunderblade went. Stay away, fucking Space Harrier fireballs. Oh shit, how the fuck did I not face plant that skyscraper? Oh, this one! Yeah, do we have the through the cave stage, which would be a stupid place to take a helicopter, but it's the 80s, people, and that's what we did. Not that you're going to get to see it. Oh crap, but yeah, this is hands down my favourite home console port of Thunderblade. I think, oh, I got continue. No, I'm back at the start. Oh, you cheap lying bastard. But don't let that put it off. You put this game off you. This is the best home port. I mean, maybe the Amiga and the Atari ST versions are better. I've never played them, but as I said, the purpose of this video was to talk about the home console ports. So there you go. Anyway, as always, you know, let me know what you think, and if there's a comparison, because I'm writing down people you would like to see, let me know. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you later.